Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by backers. Right?
No judging.
Yeah.
No judging.
And the millennials are really changing that.
Is charm. No.
All success begins with desire.
I feel like I'm on fire right now.
OMG, baby, tell
Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by backers. Justin Fox here, Julie, Thurgood, Burnett. Julie, thank you very much for joining me on the show today.
No, thanks for having me. This is pretty exciting.
Awesome. So we just had a pretty interesting conversation off air there. Just found out I just started stock car racing last summer as kind of a random. I've always wanted to do it. Had never really had the opportunity. Sports were canceled. It was sort of like, what are we going to do anyways? But you're saying that your family was kind of involved in it. I want to start there actually. Let's on air talk about stock cars. I love the. I mean, let me do your bio. The quick, short. Your bio is awesome too. 2015, you were done working for others, quit your job, and it opened a bunch of doors for you. And now you currently own and/or co-own 4 companies that keep you obviously very busy. So, entrepreneur extraordinaire, if you will. So, tell us about your stock car. So, it was your dad. You said you grew up as a.
Yeah, that's how
kids that grow up in the stock car.
I don't know. I think we're like little grease monkeys.
Little grease.
So my dad was
a company, Green Monkey or something. What's your company?
Green Monkey Creative,
Green Monkey Creative, right?
Yeah, so, and then Angry Dad Motors.
Right. Then, you grew up as a grease monkey.
Yeah. So my dad was a mechanic, then went back to school to be an auto teacher.
Okay.
With 2 small children. And we grew up in an engine, like that was our life. And my dad and my grandfather actually used to race too with the Galt drivers. And I found out, I worked a job at Edenvale Aerodrome in Stayner.
Okay.
When it got turned in from an RCAF airbase to a car track when it got shut down. My grandfather raced there and I had worked there. So it was kind of cool. So it was always part of our life. Like I learned how to drive before we were probably supposed to drive, and I'm probably sure I drove on the roads when I wasn't supposed to drive. So I still drive.
Hey, we were a different generation, right? I mean, it's so. Did you race at Varney, or did your dad race at Varney ever? Or
yeah, he did. He did.
Okay.
So
small world. That's
They did. Yeah. So I never got into the racing. I always thought I never really wanted to be it, but here we are running a restoration company, and my husband always says, how many wives have a feed on Facebook that's filled with classic cars? And it's true.
Right.
Like that's, yeah. So
what are the 4 businesses? You've got the Green Monkey Creative. Yeah. You said the Angry Dad Motors, right? Yeah.
And Herwood Farms, which is a lavender farm. And,
which is sort of, we were supposed to kind of got rescheduled there. I think I had to reschedule because the internet was down.
And I was like, hey, there's 3,000 plants coming.
Yeah, you're like, I was like, what are you getting all these lavender plants for, right? But you're creating the soaps, right? You said different.
We're doing. We're not doing soaps, so we are doing beauty products. So we do infused oils.
Oils, and, okay.
Yeah, beard oils and bath stuff. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then what's the 4th company?
I own a photography business, but it's only fine art now. Like I always say I don't shoot people anymore. So.
Well, thank God you don't shoot people.
Yeah. So I don't do that side of the business anymore. So.
Okay. Interesting. So where do you want to start then? I guess, I mean, obviously the mechanic, the racing. Have you ever raced a car? I mean, so all those watching, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, and it's watched, but it's always like we do the fun ones like at motorsport and stuff, but I never got into the whole racing thing. Like we go down to NASCAR and I think I'm the best dressed when we go to NASCAR in Michigan, which we miss, but it's so much fun. Like it's just, there's something, and we get the pit passes and it's it's just fun for me. There's just something about it. So
I've been to Indy, like here, or not Indy. Is it Indy? What's the one that's in Toronto? Indy? Yeah, Indy, right? And then there's F1, right? So I've been to the Indy a few times. I've never been to a NASCAR. I'd love to. I think that I went once to Daytona, but it was just like off time, right? So it was empty. Yeah, to Michigan. Yeah.
You can rent an RV there and just the weekend. It's a lot of fun. But we, like as kids, whenever we went to the races, because you get to walk the track, we would always walk the track with my dad, and my dad would kind of
in like the pre sort of talk.
Yeah, and walk, and he would walk you through like how to drive on the corners and all these things, right? So it really was kind of part. It's in our blood. We have grease in our blood. So
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching. We used to go camping up north, sort of. You mentioned Stayner, like kind of up that Wasaga area. There was Barrie Speedway. I don't know. It's sort of around Highway 12, kind of in around there. But used to go a lot Saturday nights, go watch the races. And I always wanted to jump in and kind of go. And it wasn't until about maybe 6 years ago, I found out this Arrive and Drive program up at Stauble. Tried it. It was amazing. You basically show up, they give you the go around a few times, and then you're in the races that evening, basically, with their car. So thought that was amazing. And like I said, this past summer, kind of fell into it. So I love it. Like I'm hooked. Like I told you, I bought my own car midway through the summer, paid $500 for a old beater, and then I'm just gonna go run it around, right? So it's pretty interesting, but definitely I think it's definitely a different lifestyle. I think I don't know how to say it. It's really amazing. Like there's a whole community around it that if you're not part of it, you don't know exists. And now walking the track and some of those things, like I've done it now a bunch of times, because even just like the pre-race kind of whatever, the pit, you're out there doing the track walk, and it's anyone that's never done it, go do it.
Go do it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's like and I do like I absolutely love cars. Like it's always been. Yeah. I could name off every car I've owned, and my new prized possession is a '69 Mustang convertible that
there you go.
Picked up that there was only 1,000 made, so it's my baby.
There you go.
My baby, but
it's funny. My kids, we live in Toronto here, and there's just over by the plaza parking lot. Yeah. They have car shows every Tuesday, and they used to do it up until COVID, and they just did the first one last Tuesday. So it's kind of interesting. We're driving by, the kids are like, oh, the car show's on again. So we pulled in. There was less cars, and apparently the organizer can't actually organize it. So it's sort of like they just all said, you know what, let's all just show up, right? So you should show up. There you go. It's in Scarborough, east end of Toronto.
Yeah, no, we have one here, and they did the same thing when they would do the birthday drive-by. So it was like unofficial. But we have a 47 Ford pickup that's just got finished, and it's supposed to go into shows this year, but I don't think there's going to be any shows. Yeah, no,
it's going to be tough. This summer, I think, will be the summer where I think last summer was probably going to be better than this summer. I think this summer is going to be tough because last summer a lot of things were unsure. This summer, I think everyone's just going to be like, everything's canceled, right? They just don't want to take the risk. So it's kind of unfortunate. So let's talk about what you do. Okay, so obviously the restoration and the Angry Dads more related to cars, vehicles, right? Green Monkey Creative, is more of a creative agency. What do you spend? You got 4 businesses. What do you spend? Do you spend 25% on each, or what do you spend? Let's say the majority of your time on.
Green Monkey's probably 60% of my day. Okay. We have 8 team members, and it is pretty busy. I mostly run the business and do strategy and marketing, so I'm not really task related to stuff. I still do some things in the day for clients I've had for a while, or jumping in. So and overseeing everything. So it just depends. It can have a quiet day or a super busy day. And then the lavender was on a whim, and it completely took off. And I love doing this quote, and I hope the man doesn't think that I mimic him, but I took a course with the University of Michigan on how to grow lavender, because I had no idea. Like, I planted them in the ground, wanted to see what happened. And he said, quote unquote, he's from Utah. He's like, the biggest downfall of lavender farmers is their marketing. They don't know how to market. And I'm like, I know how to market. So, and so that kind of backfired a little bit, because it went like, I was going for a nice, like, soft launch, and then it just took off. Like, we've sold over 800 ounces of oil, which is huge since November when we launched. And so we're in stores, and putting in 3,000 plants. It was all hands on deck. We did have a planter, so we didn't do them by hand. But
and what's the brand again for the lavender? What was
Herewood Farms.
Herewood Farms, right? I think
Yeah.
you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
So people can buy it in stores. Like what kind of stores are we talking?
Mostly spa,
Okay.
carry it. There's a few like refillery stores that carry it, but they can find it. It's online. So
Okay.
ship all across Canada.
Okay, cool. So, okay, let's talk about marketing because everyone that's
Yep.
probably going to be watching this, small business owners, including
Yep.
ourselves, people that work with us on the Backers platform. Marketing is I think ever changing. It's obviously like a moving target.
Yep.
What are some of the things that you would say to maybe somebody like you just launched a business? Like what did
Yep.
you do to get it to where it is now? What are some of the sort of tactics or strategies or just, cold hard work? Like what
Yeah.
is it that people should be doing, in 2021 and, given the circumstances?
Yeah, and I think it's ever evolving. Like I think one of the big things is if you're starting out a new company, like just make sure you're branding. Like if you had $1,000 that you need to launch this business, make sure you spend a big chart, like big piece of that on branding, because you don't want to go and redo your logo. And it's something that's going to represent across everything and having it consistent across every touch point. And realizing that things will come in stages. Like I've updated my website probably 6 or 7 times with how you evolve. Get feedback from your friends and your family about what you're doing, because you get so stuck in your world sometimes that you forget that you're a consumer. So that's another big piece for me. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. Getting that community built, it's a lot of legwork, following other people and getting engaged. Don't buy followers. That's a big no-no, you'll get flagged. Plus they're not valuable. So
Right. They're not engaged.
Yeah, like I remember someone had like 30,000 followers. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And it was a client. And I'm like, well, how come your engagement's only like 20 people? Like who are these other people that you have that aren't even bothering? So, and being transparent and especially with social, ensuring that you stay social. It shouldn't all be about sales. You have to be engaging, show the inside, show your achievements, show your failures, just be social and be that human being, because people aren't there to just be sold to, right? They're not there. They're going to Google to find out. But yes, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on, but it's a lot of work. Like and e-commerce is a whole other beast. Like how do people trust you? How do you get their desired state to what you offer and feeding that, and what information is too much? And they're either going to shop from you, not shop from you, or go to your competitor. Right. So how do you get them there, and how do you tell them? And social is a good way to do it. It's a very affordable, it's time consuming, but it is an affordable option to get the message out there. So
sort of like that consistency, right? I think I was actually on a call earlier talking about sort of consistency. Like every day we need to being consistent, being present, sort of that plays a lot too. And then showing that other side of who you are, both individually and then obviously as a business, right? I think you're starting to see brands even starting to be a little more like playful, right? And
I think it's like dating, right? So being there and still being like, answering the text messages back, but don't be like, where are you? You haven't called me in 5 minutes. And
what's the proper amount of time for a brand to wait after the first purchase, right? No,
kidding. But it is like, it's even engagement with people are like, well, I should post 3 times a day, 7 times a week. I'm like, so that person's going to get invaded 21 times a week. You're in their face instead of maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week if there's something going on. Like you got to be really cognizant of what time. I mean, there was a coffee shop I followed, beautiful photography, beautiful content, but they posted 4 times a day, and I'm like, I'm out. Like I'm out. Yeah, you're taking up my whole news feed. So
it's overwhelming at times. So what? Okay, that's kind of into. You talked about buying followers, the engagement. You want to get that engagement, so that's not a good idea. What, do you consider paid ads to be buying followers? Is that
no. I think it's good, because I think you can then, because Facebook really has some neat, if you've installed like your Facebook pixel and set up your business manager, which is kind of a beast right now.
For like retargeting and stuff.
Yeah, that you can then, make sure, like if you're selling something, you want to go after engaged shoppers in your target. You don't want it to go to,
and then you can see, start to target specific
And it doesn't have
demographics.
to
Yeah.
be a lot of money. Like it honestly, you could do $100 a month. That's not a lot of money, and then you won't miss it, and then kind of up it a little bit because you want to have that brand awareness and
Right.
and measuring it. So run 3 different ads. If one ad's doing better for you, then I would keep doing that and eliminate the other ones or tweak the other ones. Like it's all
Right.
going back. And I think people forget to look at their insights and just go, oh, I spent $50 and it didn't work. Well,
Right.
you know,
It's the consistency thing too, right? It's that re-engaging them once, twice. You know, they talk about the 7,
Right.
take 7 times, 7 touches, right? To kind of convert somebody. That's kind of the traditional
Yep.
thought process. But yeah,
yeah.
so it's that
And don't-
consistency.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things is that people, like, when as a business, we forget what we like as a consumer.
Right.
So it's always like when I worked at McDonald's head office, I wanted to like scream at people going, we have to get out of the burger world. Like you've got to stop going, this is a really great idea. You have to remember you're a consumer and what do you want? Are you gonna go to McDonald's for a salad? Probably not. You're going there for your Big Mac, right? Like great option. No one really cares about a salad at McDonald's, right? So it's feeding that. Like there's a reason why I won't get into soaps, and there's a reason why I probably won't get into essential oils. I know what my lane is. It's working.
Right.
And don't be afraid as a business to change. Like the first product I launched was very dear to me, but then I'd have people question it. And so I could have just put my foot in the ground and said, no, this is my product. You have to like it. Or I take
What
that.
was the product? What was the
It
product?
was just, so when you make
You're talking
infused-
about for the lavender?
Yeah, for the lavender.
Yeah,
So
okay.
for the infused product, people would expect this big, strong smell of lavender, but that's lavender essential oil. But that's what we've been taught with all the products and all the smells and everything else.
Okay.
So now I do add some essential oil because there was that happy medium where people are like, well, this doesn't smell like lavender. I'm like, yeah, but it's better than lavender, like essential oil. So there was that learning for me and for my consumers. So now my sales have skyrocketed even more because now when people, they need to have that smell, right? So it was a need that I had to fill, and I just didn't want to be like that. Hey, although my men clients like the original, so I still make the original for them. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, like, so you said, was it 3,000 plants that day you had come in or something? So
Yeah.
what does that produce? Like how much product or
That's a good
what
question.
what is
This
the
is my
turnover
first
on that?
year. Yeah, no, that's my first year. So last year I did 40 plants and I made 196 ounces of infused oil. So I've
Okay.
my formula. I don't know, because I'll probably sell some dried stuff this year to people and split. I mean, I'm gonna have lavender hanging everywhere when we harvest.
I was gonna say, like, how much space do you have in your house? I was talking to a guy the other day about he started his business in his basement, and then all of a sudden he had boxes all over his house, right? So I can picture you're gonna have lavender plants strewn throughout your house.
No, I have a 14,000 square foot horse arena that there's a loft above it, so there's plenty of room up there that things can hang and do whatever.
So it's not going to be all over your house.
No, it was in my basement. It was at first, and then I went, this isn't working. Like it just, so it's all set up like a store because it's called the Lavender Lounge, and people can come and shop. We host, it's called Harvest Host. So RVs show up for free, and they have to spend, I think, $20 minimum because they're staying here for free. And it's actually been quite successful. So
you let them stay the night for free,
free,
but they buy $20 worth of products. Where are you again? Can we show up with a tent? Does a tent count?
No, it has to be an
has
RV.
to be an RV. Oh.
RV with the toilet.
I was thinking of buying an RV this potentially this summer to go up to Varney, because we usually go up there. We were anyways, we were getting one from the guy up there, and then that's cool. Where are you? So you're in, what was
East
Scaravaxa?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it used to be a hamlet of Herwood. That's why it's called Herwood Farms.
Okay.
And my husband's family settled here 5 generations ago.
Okay. So they've been there for a while.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the types of clients that you might work with Creative Monkey. Sorry, Green Monkey. I think I'm a little bit dyslexic. Green Monkey Creative, right? I'm putting
Yeah.
the words back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Green Monkey
No.
Creative.
We work with almost everyone. Like we work with tiny businesses that, you know, need help, because we always are under the premise that everybody needs marketing.
Right.
We teach a lot of free webinars too for those people that can't afford it, but they still need the information. So we also work with some large clients, and it's divided up. So I handle the super large clients, and it can be anywhere from an engineering firm to chemical companies to real estate. Like we never niched out. And I'm glad we didn't, because, you know, at one point I think half my business was restaurant business. So that would have been devastating to us
Right.
last year, right?
Right.
Although I think the grants the government popped back in, like we had some restaurant, like there was a lot of clients that were pretty smart with that grant money and was like, oh my goodness, like my website needs to be done, and or
Right.
I need to do my social media, or I need logo. So it was really refreshing. I think the businesses that kind of jumped on, I have a year to do the stuff that I haven't been able to do, will
Right.
be really successful, because I think as consumers we've changed. I think we want to focus on people that are local to us, because it really was, you got to see a side of other businesses and behind the scenes of their struggle, and
Right.
you want to keep them going, right? It's, I think,
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, a lot of, I remember saying at the beginning, the businesses that are able to adapt or like will change are going to be the ones that will come out a lot stronger.
Yep.
And you're starting to see that now. I was talking to, you know, some people about, you know, they're starting to have these kind of like still the same sort of what do you call it, like brick and mortar restaurant locations, but now they're bringing in multiple entities to use that same sort of functional kitchen, and they're
Yep.
doing a lot more like delivery and distribution at a wider sort of from that one, which maybe used to rely on just the immediate kind of walk-in. Now they're able to expand, whereas other people that have, you know, haven't, like you said, approached the online and digital space are going to definitely suffer again in the long term, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I think it helped them. Like there's one restaurant in town that really got on like that whole takeout, and takeout was always a secondary business to them. Like they
Right.
had the back of their restaurant. But one of the reasons they said, like, so they updated their website, they got online ordering in place because their phones would be ringing off the hook. And the last thing she goes, I want the experience of takeout that they get when they dine in. I can't
Right.
give that to them. So they went out of their way. Every time you walked in, they had something for you. They wrote things on the bag. They
Right.
really,
the
because it
little
was-
things.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and they did a great job on social. Like what else were they going to post? And there's
You want to shout them out? What's the name? Who is it?
Bluebird Cafe in Orangeville. They have,
Okay.
I brag about them all the time, but they're, and
Bluebird, like
Bluebird.
BLUEBIRD.
Yeah, if you come to Orangeville, it's
Yeah.
the best Italian food. And it's just, even their takeout, like by the time I get it home, 20 minutes, it's still
Still piping
hot.
hot. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Julie, well, I really appreciate you joining me here.
No, thank you.
Is there anywhere they can find you? I have one last question, but
Yes.
before we end, where can they find you? Obviously, Green Monkey
Monkey Creative.
Creative.
Yep, Herwood Farms, Angry Dad Motors, and
We
Julie
didn't even
Gibbs
talk about
Marketing.
Angry Dad.
I know,
Dad
Angry
Mo-
Dad.
Let's,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have a few more minutes to talk about
Yeah,
Angry
we
Dad
can
Motors?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Angry Dad Motors.
Yeah,
So-
tell us about Angry Dad. You told me sort of off air what the
Yeah.
kind of start of it was. Tell everyone what.
Yeah, we have a big horse arena that I was like, why don't we do storage? We had rented it out for a long time to horse people, and we were done with the traffic on our property. And so we were coming up with names, and my husband's an engineer, so he's very technical. I'm very creative. So we're very different when it comes to thinking. And I was like, we should call it Angry Dad Motors. And my husband's like, that is stupid. And I'm like, no, it isn't. And he went away, and I did this drawing of why he's angry. He drives a white van. He had to give up his Camaro because they had kids, and he wants to just hang in his garage with his buddies. And we all remember our first car. And so then he came back, he goes, that's brilliant. And I'm like, yeah, like I want the guy to look like Mario, but like pumped up on steroids, right? Like and now we have an Angry Dad beard oil, because it's kind of funny. Like I think I don't know, like dads are angry, but it's okay in a good way sometimes.
Yeah. I'm a
Right?
dad. I can get angry. I don't know. I get it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do though, aside
So
from
we
the
do,
beard
yes,
oil?
yeah, so we do car storage, and then we
Okay.
restore cars. So
A car storage in the horse palace, you
Yeah,
said, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and
interesting.
then restoring
And the
cars.
restoration of the cars. So
Yeah.
I can bring my car and you can start. Do you do so restoration of more antiques, not so much building and building out stock cars? That should
No.
be the other angry dad.
That should be the other. Well,
Yeah,
you know
the
what? My
spin-off.
husband,
That's the happy dad. That's the happy dad, right?
happy. Well, maybe my husband would help you because it's easier to work on older cars. But you know, he had a son that did go-kart racing,
Oh, okay.
so it's fixing things on a whim. Is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we have a guy, Rusty. Rusty's racing. He's the guy who sort of helped kind of build out some of the stuff.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
obviously I live in the city, I live in a condo,
Yep.
a shoebox in the sky.
Yeah. Where are you gonna?
So where am I gonna put it, right? So it's
Yeah.
sitting in his backyard. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to go racing, so should be fun in my own car because
Yeah,
renting for the whole summer was it was fun, but it's good to have your own ride, right? So
Definitely.
cool. Well, Julie, like I said, thank you for joining me. Usually I ended off in one sort of one last question. It's one word
Yep.
that you would give, sort of say to yourself or somebody coming up, like a piece of advice to younger you, like somebody, that's kind of coming through, maybe you in 2014, right? Or
Yeah.
you, whatever, in
It's-
2000, I don't know, whatever you needed to hear this word.
Yeah. Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
Yeah. Like I wish I did this 20 years ago. Like I
Yeah.
wish I would have trusted myself and realized I was smart. That's, yeah.
That's very good advice. We didn't ask, what did you do before 2015?
So I
Were you in
was
sort of the same space?
yeah,
or?
I was so my background is marketing and market research. So I
Okay.
worked for McDonald's in
Right.
branding.
You
food
did kind of
development,
mention that. Yeah. okay.
Dell Computer, Zellers, like I was in the big corporations. And
Okay.
so
So yeah. So
I would never go back.
yeah.
Never go back.
Awesome. So trust yourself. Everyone out there, trust yourself. You can do
Yeah.
it, right?
You can do it. You can.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Julie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everyone else, this is One Take powered by backers, Justin Fox, Julie Thurgood, Burnett. Check out Green Monkey Creative or The Angry Dad or tell me out with the
Herewood Farm.
Hear About Farms?
Here
Hear
would.
About
Yeah.
Herewood Farms. Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. And
You got it.
we got it all. Check it all out. And thank you very much, Julie. Hopefully we should talk because we work with a lot of clients as well. So
Yeah.
maybe they could use some in it ourselves as well, some marketing support services. So we should connect as well. Awesome. Everyone else, I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by backers. Right?
No judging.
Yeah.
No judging.
The millennials are really changing that.
Is charm. No.
All success begins with desire.
I feel like I'm on fire right now.
OMG, baby.